Hello, welcome. I'm just going to show you what we are going to build in this episode. So in this episode, we're just going to go ahead and add the doctor sign up. So when the doctor, it starts when the doctor goes and he clicks on this link here, list your service, and they are taken to this landing page, and it's like landing page, and they can either click this new, or they click on list your service, or they can just come and choose here on the pricing. Let's say they just choose to start with this professional package. So when they click on this, you can see we have here the role captured. So the role and the plan captured. They go ahead and fill in this form. Okay, and then they will be taken to the verification step. I can just show you what happens. So if I fill in some data here, I can just go ahead and use a fake feeder to fill in some data, and then I click on sign up. This is going to go ahead and creates a, you can see creating account. Please wait. So after a few, you can see user created successfully, and then you are sent to this verify account, and you have to verify the account. So they send you an email. Now in this case, the email looks like this, and then you can just go ahead and get this. Of course, this is not for this one. So if you just come and put anything like this and try to submit to verify, you can see wrong token. Please check the token and enter again. So you have to verify. So after verifying, if you're a normal user, you'll be redirected to the login, where you can log in and move on. If you are a doctor, you will be redirected to this page. Okay, so you'll be redirected to the onboarding page. You can see it is an onboarding page, and then on this page we also have interesting things. For instance, you have the form for each step. You have like biodata, we have this step, then we have, like, for instance, contact information, profession information, and all other steps. And you can see we are changing this on here and capturing this very nicely like this. And this is where we actually stopped. And then I gave you an assignment of actually designing all these other forms. Okay, we designed only one form, and I showed you how. Then we're just going to use that knowledge to design all other forms given the information. Okay, so if you're happy and see how you're going to build up to this level, please join me and let's get started. Hello, welcome back. So in today's episode, we are just going to work on the doctor sign up and the onboarding steps, where we are going to sign up a doctor, and then afterwards we'll have the onboarding multi-step forms for them to give us more information that the admin is going to look at, and is going to base on that information to approve or disapprove the doctor. Okay, so from the previous episode, we added dark mode support for all the pages. So right now, if you go on the list your service, okay, I think we also put this link somewhere up here, this one here. And then we have this landing page for the doctors. Okay, you can just go ahead and use different photos. You don't have to use a different photo for this. And then after that, they have to choose the whichever they want, the pricing they want, and I think for this pricing is going to be coming from, we'll make this pricing to come from the admin dashboard so that he can manage the pricing. And I think that one would be really great to have the pricing coming from the dashboard. Okay. Yeah. So from that point, they can choose a minute. From this point, they can choose the plan they want. Let's say a free plan. And then when they click on a free plan, then it's going to take them to the sign up. Okay. And you can see there are different plans. So now this is the doctor, and the plan is free. So you can get this information and then we use it on the sign up. Okay. You can use this information on the sign up, and then from this step we shall send them an email, and then from the email they can just go ahead and they can go ahead and fill in the onboarding steps that we are going to have. Okay. So we need just to first of all remove the email, because I'm just going to use my email for this. So I think I'm just going to start by checking the users I have. So I just say npx prisma studio. So I want to pull up the studio and see the number of users that I have. So you can just go I have 10 users right now. Okay. And I just want to remove most of these. Let me select, not this one. Let me just select all these, some of these users who are using to test. I will just leave a few of them. Okay, just delete this. Okay, so I have these two. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete one of them. I'm just going to go ahead and delete this one because I'm just going to use this one for this purpose. So I will just delete also this one. Okay, so let's go ahead. And so the first step is be able to get this data we are passing as params here. We can just go ahead and we have to get those details on the sign up. Okay. So on the sign up, we can just go ahead and extract uh, those roles. Okay. So we can just go to the sign up. For instance, let's first go to the sign up. Where do I get the sign up? Go to the front and then register page. Register with BG. So here you can see we have role equal user, and then so by default the role is equal the user, and this was being passed in this. Okay, so now we're just going to have our role from, we can just have our role from here. And let me just see. I think if we're using the role on top here, so then all of them, I think we should just pass them as just in this param here. we can pass them as a param here instead. If that is the case, this one was passing it as a parameter. Alternatively, we could do that if we wanted. Alternatively, we could do that if we wanted, and just simply have localhost, and then we pass into we pass in this as what, but we're just going to we are going to use we are going to use the params. I think the params are more easy and so clean. Okay, we could also just like say slash doctor register, like that. We could just have that. I don't think it's like even much work. We don't need to do that. We can keep the state here. We can keep the state here, and we don't need extra pages. That one would lead us to keep an extra page. But for this case here, for instance, we could just go for this normal sign up. If someone went to this sign up, so if let me first log out. So if someone went to log in here, and then they eventually click on sign up here, okay? So this, for this step here, we're just going to append, we can append here the role, okay? We can append here the role as user. We don't need to pass in just like this instead. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, we could just get these from here, or we could just get them from, I could just come here and say, for instance, const role. For this case, let me just call it let me first remove these ones. I could just say const role is equal to, first of all, let's just say params is equal use is it use search params? Search params from next navigation. Okay. So from this, we could just say, for instance, that const role is equal to params dot get, and then we say get role, for instance, and then if we wanted, we could just say by default. So we could just say by default is user. Okay, so for now, I just first do without this. So if I just come and I just append, for instance, on this, go to sign up, and then let's append here. If I just append role equal user, just like that. So if I append this, let me just go ahead and console.log register, where are we having the error? Okay, so I just first get this, and I'm just going to go ahead and say console.log roll. Okay, so at this point we can just go and test sign up. I'm just going to just go on this here. Let's refresh. So right now it is null. If I append role equal doctor, for instance, role equal doctor, is it? Let's first go to the actual one, for instance, the doctors. Well, this one is enough, so it should give us. Are we just getting them? Can you just say Next.js search params? Okay. Use search params in the client. It is we use search params. What do we get? Use search params from next navigation. And so search params is equal to search params. So search, for instance, it will be search params dot get the search. Yeah, so that one should be able to work. Params dot get, and then whatever you pass in here. Console.log from oh, okay, so I wonder, this is a use client, but it is putting it on this side. I'm seeing doctor here. For some reason, it is putting it on the terminal. Okay. Of course, so right now, if we change to confirm, we can change this to user. Let me change this to user. Okay. Okay, so you can see right now it is user, the role. So here TypeScript is screaming that this data.role has it might just be null. I think we just simply give it that by default is going to be user, and this should take away this uh, and we just by default here is having this. We can't just give it here the type, so just annotate it that this one is having type of user role. Okay, so type string, type user role. Okay, so alternatively, let's just go do this. So alternatively, we can just do this. Okay, so alternatively, we can just leave this role, okay, to be user role, and we can also of course add the plan. For instance, for the doctor, the the plan, and we can just say plan is a string. So you can just say plan is a string, and then you can just say this is not also required. Okay, just like this. So this is also not required. We can put the plan and this one, we pass them in this. And now we could just go to the page itself. So on the page here, and then we can just get these ones from here. Okay, so you could also just say const. And if you're here, which you can choose to use you can choose to use either the search params on the front end or in the server side or the client side. So if you just go here, there is also in the server component, I guess. You can just access the in pages the search param prop, and in this case, I guess you're supposed to see. Let me see. Uh, just you don't know here they are not showing it. Instead, use the this. Okay, so you can see we if we're just using the page, we can choose to use the search params. Okay, we just get like this in the page, and then you can just abstract the search params like this. They have not shown how to use it, but you can just like add destructure them. Let me just show you. For instance, we can pass this in the page. I'm just copying the types. Okay, so we could just type this and remove the params. We don't have any params, and then here also the params. So they have this weird syntax for the TypeScript to get this. Okay, but afterwards you can just say, for instance, const role, and then you can just say is const role, and you can just structure this, for instance, role, and then plan is equal to search params, just like this. Okay, and if you wanted to give, for instance, a default, you would just come and say, for instance, is equal to user, just like this. This would give the role a default of user. Since we did it from the other side, it is okay. So we can just now get the role, and we could first come and say console.log. Sorry, we could just first come and say console.log role and then plan. Okay, so let's just go back here. So if I just go here and I refresh this page and I go to the terminal, I should see the role, and you can just see clearly here. Okay, warning: a future version of React will block JavaScript URLs URLs as okay. So here we have user. You can see user free. To confirm, we can change this to doctor. Okay, doctor, and maybe we could change this one to professional. Professional, and then we enter. So you can just see that just here. Okay, so you have doctor professional, just like that. So we can just easily get it like that, and then we can just pass the role as role. Okay, and then we can also pass the plan as plan. Okay, so this type string, type string is not assignable type string. Search params, key string or this or undefined. So here they annotate it to be either string or an array of strings or undefined. Okay. So alternatively, what you can just also do is because for the role we have to have it as a user role. Okay, so how do we annotate that to make sure that we have the user role? For this, for the role, we could just copy exactly what is here. Okay, so we could just go here in the role and we annotate it just like this. So this one should now go away for the plan. Now for the role, actually what you're just going to do is also annotate the same way. So just come here. I'm just going to go and give it the same things. Okay, so now where do we have this? The role is not assignable type role. Remember this is use register with inputs and the user role is user role. We could just also annotate it like this to take out the error, but we just know it is predefined. Okay, great. So we have this now done. Okay, we just have this done, and we get in the page. Here in this page, we have our role and the plan, and then we pass them here. So if we don't pass anything, for instance, the role will be user, and then the plan, we could just like set this to be an empty string. Okay, so this would still work. Okay, and for the doctor, so of course we're just going to try here before we save. We have to check if the role is this or the role is that, so that we know what to do exactly. Okay, more especially for routing. Okay, so that is great. Now what we just need to do is so far is to be able to save the data, because right now when the data comes, we have here data.role, and then after that we say try user is look away to create user. So you can check this create user. So you can see in the create user, we have here the some issue somewhere. Where is this issue? Role user. Why is the role? Oh, they are seeing that, and they're seeing that from here from that. Okay. Mm, okay, so alternatively, how about this? Will it make anyone happy? Yeah. Okay. So now we have, so when we receive the form data, we check if this user, and now we generate the token, blah, plus, blah, blah. And here we are creating the new user with the token. And then we have token plus user ID, first name, blah, blah. And then we have sent the mail. Okay. So the only thing I guess is that all users upon sign up, they need to be sent an email, which is okay. But then for this, the email template or the email should have different information. Let's say, mm, yeah, so we could, so this one, I'm just going to leave it as it is, I guess. From here, the only thing is under this verify. So if you look at this verify, it has the user token and the ID. And then from this, what are we getting? We are checking the token. So you could also pass in the role, because here after this, we are pushing this to the login. So for the admin, for this, we could push them instead of pushing them to the admin after verifying the email. We can push them to we can push them to we can redirect this to the onboarding. Okay, so I think that is it. So this, we redirect them to the onboarding page. So just going to leave the process the way it is, because all users need to be verified, as in sending them the verification code. But upon verifying, then we'll send them on different. For the users, they go to the login, and then others, they will just go to the. So here on this verify page, you can see that we are actually fetching a user. And then from this user, we are getting the only the token. Now we could just go ahead and get also the role. Okay, and user dot role. Okay, so we could just get also the role, And then I'm just going to pass this role along with, so role is equal to role. And then I just go here. Okay. And by the way, you can, before we just go here, you can just also click here and look at this. So this one just looking at as the user role, which is okay. So we just come here and we have role. I think we could just send, would have sent an entire user. I don't know why we are breaking this like that. But since we are already here, let's just say role is the user role. Okay, we just like put the user role from the Prisma, and that should be okay. User role, now define don't say no type user role. Okay, so it has the possibility of being undefined. So we could just also come here and say undefined to make both words happy. So the only thing we just need to do is we are going to create here another page in the front, and this is going to be onboarding. So I'm just going to say onboarding, and then inside here we are also going to create a new page, which is going to be, we are going to use ID, and then we're just going to add page.tsx. Okay, RFC, and then the here just going to say H2, welcome doctor. Okay, and then at this point we can't even pass in their ID. Let me pass in the ID, and this ID is going to be gotten from here. So you can just say params, and then from these params we extract ID, and to annotate the types, just simply copy this, and then here just paste, sorry, not outside. So just say this, and then for the ID, just say it is string. Okay. So now we can just use the ID here. So when someone, we push them to the onboarding ID and they come to this page. So after verification process, so just going to go here. We are passing in also the role, and then we can just come here and check if the role is this, we push them somewhere. So here the toast is okay, but then we're just going to see if, for instance, the role is equal to, so if the role is equal to the user, then we just push them to the login ls. We could just say else if role is equal to doctor, then we're just going to push these ones not to the login this time, but to, so I'm just going to do this. Okay, just like that. Onboarding, so just say onboarding. So just going to push them on onboarding stroke ID, which is $ID. Just like this, onboarding stroke ID, and this will be enough. Okay. Okay. And we could just like actually, instead of writing this if statement, we could just read written this if the role is doctor, because the user case route dot push to this. Okay, and then we say errors. So we could just say errors here. Whoever errors, we just push them to the login, just like this. Okay, that is much better. Okay, so hoping that everything is going to work as planned, let's just try to actually register. So I'm just going to go back to this side, list your service, and uh, then here let's just choose get started free. So we see we have Raw Doctor and plan free. Now we have to have these added to, let me just go and see. We need to make sure that on the Prisma schema, we have the plan plus the role. So you can see we have the phone role. We don't have a plan. So you can just see plan, and we can just say this is a string. We can just say this is a string and is not required. Okay, just like that. Stop. We have to stop the the server and restart. So Control C. I'm just going to say npx prisma db push and npx prisma generate, just in case it doesn't generate, and npm run dev. So I'm just writing this so that in the future just simply rerun this command. So this pushes generates Prisma client and starts the server one more time. Okay, so it is ready. I'm just going to go and reload this page. So we have to add the plan. So I'm just going to go to register. So create user. What is the problem here? Users implicit any type annotation and refer directly or indirectly as its own initializer. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and say data dot plan. So I'm just going to add the plan, and since we are using this register input first, so just to go to this. Let me first go to this. We have to add plan. Okay, just this can be a string. And I don't know if this will make noise because this is why we have it as something else. Yeah, I expected it just to, let me just say plan is plan. I expect this to actually make noise simply because of the annotations we gave it here. So just come here and give it the same annotations. So just go back to these. Okay, so great. So now we have these. Where are we? Where? First close this, close Prisma, the supposed to be on the register right now. So where is the register? Just go here and register. So we can just add here, we have added the role plus the plan. So that means then when we create a user here, we have to add the plan. So if you just look at what we are adding to the database, we have to add also the plan. And speaking of the plan, we have to also get it in whatever data was sent here. So we have full name, role, phone. This time we have also the plan. Okay. Great. We still have one error. And what is that error? Oh, um, mm, I don't know if you can just say as. Where can I just say that? I feel like this is as string. I think you can just add it here. Where am I going to add this? Because we have. Okay, so the easiest way to do this is going here and we do the same thing. Instead of this, we just say any. Okay, just say any, and this is just going to have peace with us because it has a lot of annotation, like it has a lot of possibilities. Okay, uh, use those the any in those circumstances whereby you have no choice. Okay, but random circumstances always annotate. So we have this being added here. So we expect everything to be okay. So after this user being created, I actually need to see this user. You can see the token plus this one. And we return that user. So let's just go and try to register this person. I'm just going to refresh the page and let's go ahead and add these details. Okay. So I'm just going to come here and I say, for instance, full name. I'm just going to add my full names. Okay. Email. So you have to add a working email here. Phone number 07. And then password, I just want to put test. And then I'm just going to go ahead and sign up. Okay, so you just see what happens. And you can also just keep an eye on this. Okay, so you can just see that a user was created and even the email was sent. If you see this data ID, the email was sent. There was no errors. And image is null, role doctor, plan is free. I think that password is there. the token that was sent, you can see it here, 112363. This was the token, and we have been directed to this to verify, which is here. Great. Now, what we just need to first check if this email, if it was sent. So I'm just going to go ahead and get the email. Okay, so it is here, medical app, and you can see 112363. So you can just go ahead and enter this 112363. So it is 112363. So you can just like mess up one. Let's put like 6 and try to verify this. And you can see wrong token. Please check and enter again. So this was 3. They just cross check. Was it 3? Yeah, so it is 3. Let's go and verify now. Okay, so account verified, and you have been redirected to the onboarding. So this is great. So we are on the onboarding, and we have welcome doctor, and we have the doctor ID. Okay, so that's great. We are on the doctor page. Now we can start the journey of the onboarding. So right now we have no problem with so far. We are so far so good. So first of all, I'm just going to first give this a class name. And actually, let me first give so a container, some max width of like 5 Excel, the MX auto, okay, and then we can do this inside. If I just check, so you can just drop this on the here, okay, and then I just give this padding, of course. So padding Y of 8, and let's say a mean height of screen. Okay, so if we just do that, okay, so that is great. So now this is the onboarding process. So we need to have the our mat step form here. Okay, we need to have our mat step form here, and the mat step form I want us to use, I think, is the this one that looks like this format. Let me just go and see. Yeah, so I want something like this, and we can also just load this disclaimer. I think it is more important. It is important that you display a disclaimer like this, explaining some things. I don't know what, but you can also put a disclaimer like this. When they check and then accept, then you can bring them to this form. So just want to have something like this. Okay. Yeah. So I like this design, and we're just going to use this one. Very simple and straightforward. And this one is going to be the steps we are on. You can see we are on the start, and you can see these ones, they have been like pages. We might just use a different approach, but still we are going to use also the pages, and we might also need to save this in the in there. Okay, so let's just go and start this process of the design. So the first thing is to design this. So I'm just going to leave everything for this page as it is. I'm just going to create a component for this. So I'm just going to go ahead and create onboarding. So in components, we have a lot, but we can just simply go ahead we can just go simply and go ahead and create a new folder. Actually, let's call this folder onboarding. And am I creating this? Let me just create it in components direct. Onboarding. Okay, onboarding. And in the onboarding, we have, of course, multiple steps. That's why I'm creating this. So you can just say onboarding, okay, form. Okay. Or could just say form or forms. I don't know. Maybe you could just say onboarding steps. The TSX, RFC, and here just say put H2, step 1, and they just bring these onboarding steps. We take it to, let's first close all these unnecessary pages. We have 1,000 pages right now. We have so many open to the level that closing them would take the whole entire day. I think the alternative is close all, and then we open the one we need here on the boarding, and I'm just going to simply bring this inside here. Onboarding steps, just like this. Okay. So just going to use this. So now you see we have step 1 here. So just going to first build this layout, and you have seen me, I have these 2 tabs open, and these tabs, this one is a blog talking about the UX checklist series for the form design. I wanted to show you this. I don't know if I should just leave this in this, but this is to give you some pointers on which, like, the architecture of designing forms, and to know what is a good UI. Okay, you can see, for instance, the feature like this are more better than the ones like this. We have this one where you're describing within the steps rather than giving all the fields at once. So just going to try to add those kind of steps like that. I think that would be really much better. Okay. And of course, in light mode, everything is okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and start designing this. Okay, so the first thing is to put up the structure. So I'm just going to first say class name, and this is going to be a grid. So you want to see first divide this grid into the columns. So you just say grid cores 12. Okay. So you can just divide this into 12 columns, and then you can just come to the first one and you say core span. So I'm just going to give this core span, and you decide how many columns do you want it to occupy. Let's say 3 columns, and then that means the remaining one will have core span core span 9 to make 12. You can also just add a gap if you want it, but if I'm just going to say, for instance, the steps here, if I just have these ones as steps, and then for this one I'm just going to say forms. So this is, for instance, a form. So you can also have forms here. So if you just have that and you come back here, so you will see that if we give them like different BGs. If I just came here, I say, for instance, BG, okay, so you could just look at the space covered by this, okay, and then you can also look at this. Okay, so you can also just look at the space covered by this, so you can see this is the whole design. I think in the actual sense, it takes in more less space. So let's give it like about 2. So here, instead of 3 columns, let's give it 2. Let's give this one 10. Yeah, I think this one is much better. Okay, so we can have forms. So now let's see how we're going to manipulate the forms. Okay, now the problem actually we have is that, for instance, I would want to manipulate, I wanted to manipulate, I wanted to manipulate this based on the state in the URL. For instance, saying page is equal to 1. Okay. Now, if you have something like this right now, and let's try to access, for instance, the params. So if right now we try to access the params, we could just go ahead and say const, and let's make this, obviously, this one is going to be a use client. So just make it use client. And by the way, we could also make it, we could decide to make it a non-use client, but just make it use client. So const params is equal use search params from next navigation. Now, if you just go and, for instance, get the params, if you say the const page is equal to params dot get, okay, dot get, and you pass in the page, okay, and you pass in the page, and you just notice that this is, just go down here. Let me save this. So you notice that this would not be picked, I guess. So you just refresh, and you see that there is, if you go down here, I don't think you're not seeing anywhere 1. Okay, meaning that actually they're not seeing the page. Okay, and if you want to confirm, is if it is not there, give it 1, for instance. Now you will see that now we have 1, I guess. Just refresh. Let's see. Can I first move this up a bit? Oh, maybe it is in the browser. We should also have that possibility. No, in the browser, we don't have anything for now. Just refresh. We don't have anything in the browser, and even on the console, where is that? Oh, are we consoling anything? Jesus, we're not even consoling this page. Sorry, guys. We are looking for something we didn't even console. That is a sign of maybe getting tired. But you have just started coding. I can imagine. So let's see. Refresh one more time. Yeah, that is how actual coding actually happens. Let me just go up here. Okay, so I'm seeing one. Okay, so we could just say remove this so that we confirm where this one is coming from. Okay. We could just go ahead and refresh. And let's go ahead and see. Okay, so the only way to confirm is if we give a default of 5. That means if they don't find this, they will give it 5. Let's go ahead and refresh. Where is this? Uh, are we getting 1? That would be great if we are getting 1, but I don't think so. For some reason, the console is somehow having a lot of things we cannot see clearly. This has no any other console. Can you just make this one also 2? 2. Okay. Oh, so 2, we are getting 2 guys. Okay, so this is great. This is great. We are getting this. Then 3. So that means that can work. 3. Okay, great. Okay, that is great. So let's just discuss about let's just first go ahead and design this quickly. So I'm just going to quickly design this, and this one is in responsive. They should fill in. So basically what this means is that on this should be only on SM. So this one should have core span full, and then even they should have core span full, and then on the small devices should change. So now we should have something like this. Why are we having this gap? this should have something like, remember we had MX Auto somewhere. I don't know. Should make sure that we are in the center all the time. I don't know. That's cool. So you have call span full, and on small devices they occupy like that. Okay. So having done that, or even the browser it is here. Okay. So having done that, what you're just going to do is to quickly design or sort of clone this one. So first of all, I'm just going to design so this sort of this step. So can I remove this one? And what is it going to be in the dark? So in the dark, what can we do? Maybe we just only change the background. We can just only change the background, but then the form stays the same. Yeah, we should just like work on that, like the form stay the same. So for instance, this we could just say, for instance, BG tier maybe 50, and in the dark BG slate maybe 800. Okay, so this would change to that. And in the light mode, this would change to tier. Can we change this to 100 at least? Yeah, to 100. And then for the form, we're just going to leave it to look like this. And we can make this 200. Do we see how that one looks like? Okay. So this one just going to give it a, we could just give the onboarding. Let's go ahead and give this onboarding some styles, for instance, rounded, LG, and then shadow inner. Let's just look at that. It's like nothing has happened. Where are these ones? Why is this error? Where am I giving this grid mx rounded shadow inner? What is happening? This is probably TypeScript. Can I just give this purposes of checking BG? Just going to say BG blue 700 just to test what is happening. because like seems like there is nothing being applied. Let me first remove this, remove also this. Okay, it just because maybe we had given, we can also just go ahead and give it overflow hidden to make sure even if you give this another color bg green 600, it should just not show, yeah, it has to be inside like that. Okay, so let's just go ahead and try to design. So let's just give it this side. We are going to give this bg slate 200 maybe. Okay, bg slate 200. And that means like we could just give actually a dark background for that case. I can remove this. So for that case, let's just say BG's rate maybe 700. I have no idea of how that one looks like, so that this looks much better. Yeah, it is looking much better. Then let's go ahead and give this part BG slate 100. So one has to be slightly more dark, I guess. So this, let's make it 300. Okay. And we can clearly put padding in both cases. So padding top, maybe padding Y of 4. Maybe just say padding of 4. And here padding of maybe 2 or 3. Let's just see. Okay, great. So let's just go ahead and design a step. I think for this one, padding will be inside on the step. So just have to design a step. Let's start by giving it a class name. Let's give it a padding Y, a padding Y of maybe 3, and a px of maybe 4. BG, let's give it tier maybe 800. That's like too much, 800. And the text slate 100. Let's look at that. Yeah. So something like that. And that is like an active state, an active step. Let's look at this. Yeah. And this one has a border. So you can just put a border here. Border and border slate 200. Just like that. Okay, that's so good. So you have step 1. So let's just also add multiple steps to, so yes, we're going to have 4 steps, for instance. Okay, we are going to have 4 steps. And I think I think for that case, if there are only 4 steps, I think it would be nice if they are horizontal rather than being vertical, because these ones are so many steps. In fact, we can also just have actually just like many steps, because the information I was thinking of dividing it in, if you look at the information, really needs about like 6 or 8 steps. So let me just go and see. I have it in the notes. For sure, if you look at this, it is too much to be in only 3 or 4 steps. We are going to divide it into about 6 or 7 steps. So we'll be seeing what will be happening for that matter. Okay. So let's just leave the vertical and then. Okay. So now these ones have not to have the active. They should have the normal color. In other words, this also will have a min height of screen, and this has to be actually it has the same this bg here we are putting here should be just here on this, and then remove this. Okay, so for this one I'm just going to cut it and give it to the remaining parts, and then even this text slate, this one. So I'm just going to select this 100, and this one just going to make it maybe 800. So other steps they have like that. I'm just going to go ahead and also give them a shadow. Seems they have a shadow. Let's give them inner. I don't know if they have also a border. Let me just see. Let's also add a border bottom. Can we use on this divide y? Divide y maybe 2, and then you can say divide gray 200. Does this work? Add a sort of like this border. I don't know if that there is like a specific site sort of like a shadow they added. We could just go ahead and add a custom shadow if we wanted, but I think it's not necessary. This is really good enough, and would have added these ones as buttons. I guess they're supposed to be clickable, or we could just have added them as links. Yeah, actually just going to add them as links. They will be links. So this would be a link so that they are clickable. Next link, and just going to say href, just like that. So there will be links. Now, the fact that there are links, you need to, I didn't say the block. Do I need to do that? Yeah. So we're just going to use link, and this is the active state, and this is just the non-active state. Okay. So now we're just going to start saying, for instance, step number one, like that, like that, like that. Now, alternatively, what am I thinking? Because the problem with this is that when you put a step name, you can see like they have this here. We need to give a step name. You might just need like you have a step name plus a very long description of that step, whatever it is. So what is the best way we can present this? What would be the best way of presenting this? Of course, here we could also have, for instance, just say contact information. Contact information. How would this one look like? You see, it has to break on another line. If I give it text sm and uppercase, yeah, still it is text is let's just try extra small. Still can't go on one line. Okay, so alternatively, if we just go and say multi-step form progress bars, I think we can just look at the some of them. People have different progress bars, and there is this common one, but that is not so common with onboarding. So you have to show a mature really progress. There is this one. Need to show a mature step or something really mature. Mhm. There is also like this one. So let me just see. So there is like Of course, like this one is exactly what we are doing, which is also nice. Then there is this one for the shopping. So what you can just do alternatively is going back here. Let's go back and give this one the 3 we had given it previously, and this one 9. Just fit in the information. Yeah, so right now the information fits in, but it's really weird. It is so big. We could even give it an icon if we wanted. Contact information. But let's go with this. I think is okay. Let's go with this. Contact information. Then we can just go to the next, just like that. Maybe should I just like change the design later if we get a better one? So href hashtag. So I just simply need only these two. After all, we're going to map them. So just need only just two, and also give this one block just simply for simplicity. Yeah, just like this. So contact information, we need the contact information, then step 2, like that, like that. So let's just go ahead and create an array containing the steps. So let me just go here, steps, and it is an array. Now we're just going to have to create an object for this matter, just in case we want to decide to add more things. We can just say title, for instance, contact information. So you can just look on this notes. Let me just go through quickly. So first of all is the biodata. So the first one, let's say biodata. So this biodata. And then the second one will be, so biodata will be put first name. Then we have contact information. We just have to break this into more steps. Contact information. So just duplicate this to contact information. Then there is location. I think it can be a step. Under contact information is location. There is education, there is specialty like this. Just going to have practice information. Let me see. We have also practice information this side. I feel like in the biodata we have added, let's just see here, professional information, or so another one is going to be profession. I'm just going to say profession information. And then let's go to contact information, which I also add this. Then we have education. We have education. Education. Then let's middle school, specialization, select primary, board certificates. Then we have practice information. We have practice information. Practice information. Then we have services. Okay. Then we have availability. I wanted availability to be the last. Then there is this additional info. Then we have availability. So we have additional, and then finally we have availability. Okay, so those are our steps, just like this. And we could also just go ahead and put the page. We're going to use this to know the active, okay. We could just go and say, for instance, page, would specify the page here. So this one is going to be, for instance, biodata. Okay, so just add this on all. Contact information. Professional information. I think others just remove this. It just be contact. Sorry. This one is going to be education. Just like that. Practice. Additional. And then finally availability. Okay. So we have all these ones. Now let's just come and map them here. So just going to map the second one because this is the active state. So I'm just going to come and I just check here, cut this. I'm just going to see that we have steps dot map. Okay, step. And if you're just looking at this and this autocomplete I have is from tab 9, you can just go ahead and check tab, I think it's with tab 9 or something like that. It is tab 9 this. Okay, you can just go and also install this. I think it is free. Here is step, you have index supposed to be inside here. So you have step, And we can even just leave out index, but just put index for simplicity. Return, and just going to return this. So just come here and it says step dot title. Step the title, and then here's put the key. I. And for this, we're just going to create this in a second. Okay. But then we want to add the active state. Okay, for now, this is going to produce something like this. Biodata, professional information, education, and we need to make this, sorry, we need to make this uppercase. So just let me say uppercase. And also the text, SM is text SM, okay. Okay. So now we just add the active state, this one. For instance, right now the page is 3. Now we're just going to be naming pages, giving them names. Okay. We need to give the pages names. I don't know if, but I think the page number is more accurate than the names. Yeah. So just quickly, I'm sorry guys. I think these ones. But again, I just give them. We're just going to give them the names. Okay. But what if in the future someone changes these steps? But can also go ahead and change this flag. This one is really good, like in terms of communication. They just leave them like that. So for instance, we need to add the active state. Okay, like we have to add the active state on these ones. So how are we going to do that? So what we can do is we can use the CN. So I'm just going to come here, cut this. I will first bring in this, and I can just say CN, and I can bring this CN from libs. If you just quickly go and check on this is a mixture of the CLX, CLSX, and the tailwind merge. And this is to avoid clashing of the tailwind classes. Okay. So how this one works, you come and pass in 2 parameters. You pass in the default params, and then here you can pass comma. You put the logic. For instance, we can just say if the step dot page is equal to actually page. If this is true, then what should happen? We apply some classes and then some other classes, something like this. So now we have this one we are using, and the only thing that we are applying, if you just highlight this, you see that these ones are already there. I can just first copy this, all of it, and I show you. So if I paste this here, okay, this is if the step.page page is equal to page, so you simply block. So like this block, we already have it here, so remove this. So here we put only unique styles. So if this textra x small, we're using SM, uppercase, remove, py and px, remove, sorry, remove these. So the only thing that is changing is the background text set, and then this is already there. So I'm just going to remove this, and I'm just also going to remove this contact information. So now we should just go, and right now there will be no any active, but if I just say, for instance, bio data, if you say here bio data, you see this is active. If I say contact, let me just say contact. Okay, contact. Okay, so you see contact information is now active. So you can clearly see availability. You see availability is active. Okay, so this is great. This is great. Now we can, so you are changing this. We can also change by clicking on them. Okay, we could also change by clicking on them. How do we do that? So now what we need is going to be tricky. First of all, we need access to, since this is a dynamic param, we need access to this. Okay, we need access to this. Now we could actually make them buttons for ease. Could just make them, or alternatively, I'm just going to copy this to show you. So we could just go on this link. So here on this, we're just going to make it like this. So this is going to be an ID. So this has to be dynamic ID, dollar ID. ID is nowhere. For now, we are just going to pass in this ID from here. Okay, so just simply say ID string, ID string, just like this. Okay, so we have the ID. The problem is that we need to have a full URL. It has to be onboarding, then stroke that. So we could just also copy this onboarding. So put slash onboarding slash this. Okay, now the page is also dynamic, so could just say page is dollar step dot page. Okay, so just something like this. Let's go and pass in the ID here. So we have the ID, so you can say ID is equal to ID. That should be enough. And let's just see if this works. So I'm just going to refresh. Okay, so you click on the contact information. Yep. Profession, education, practice, additional. So we can now change these by clicking on them. So now we can have corresponding things for each of these steps. Okay, we can have maybe corresponding components for this step. So let's just have here this for different stuff, and we could also just put here the component to render, I guess. Okay, I'm just going to create the components. For instance, let's create here in the onboarding. So you see bio data form, bio data form dot tsx rfc. I'm just going to see here biodata form. So here biodata form. So I'm just going to duplicate this. Control C. This actually just not copy because we take us more. So we have biodata, we have contact info. So just go ahead and say here contact info, for instance, contact info dot tsx rfc contact info. Just see another one. Okay, so we're just going to do this for all of them. I guess I should just do only like two, and then we start designing these. Then we have professional information. So just go on the third one. Profession. The word profession. Info. Is that the spelling of the word profession? Profession info doesn't matter. Anyways, TSX RFC. Of course, this is not the right spelling. The word profession has single F. Okay, so that's good. Inside here, you can just put like profession. Okay, so just go ahead and render these. So I could just come in the onboarding steps and then I add components. Okay, and for instance, this one is biodata. Now I could just like do this, I think, biodata form, just like this. This one is component, and I'm just going to come here and so for all others we'll be putting this which don't have. So this one is going to be contact. What did I name it? Contact info. Then we have this one, profession. This is profession. Okay, for others which don't have, we're just going to see component just like this without anything, just fragments. Okay, so now here where we have them, we can also just map the steps. Okay, so we can just also get the current step. Okay, so just come here and they say current step, which they think this. How do we get? So we have the current page. Okay. We have the current page. From the current page, we can just display the how do we get the current step? We could just actually filter. So we have the current page. Okay. We could also get the current step. Yeah. So we have the page, and down here we could also just say current step. Current step, const current step. We could just say is equal to, so current step is equal to steps dot. So here we could just use find dot find. We want to find a step dot, no, sorry, we have access to the step, and we could say step dot page is equal to actually page. Okay, can we just go ahead and console.log the current step? Current step, not the title, just current step, so that we just know the current step. And where do we see this? Do we go to this console here? Okay, so right now, if you just look at it, it is availability. If we just go to this, you can see the current step is contact information and like that. So we can get the current step. Okay, so after having the current step is what we can just offer here. So here, we're just going to say we're going to render current step dot component. As simple as that. So education has no, but if you just go for profession, contact, and now this is really nice. So we can change the page, plus the component is changing nicely. So this, we are using nicely this. Okay, we are using the URL in a very nice way. Okay, so for these other ones, of course, they have no components so far. Okay. Okay, so that is nice. So having done that, so the next is to design the forms. Okay, so the next is to design the forms. So I feel like I need to design one form so that we'll use this. I would use that to design all other forms. Okay, so for each form, so I just go to start from, this is the biodata. So you could just go and actually what you're just going to do, we're just going to go to, for instance, to the login or to the sign up actually. Just go to, those days in PHP we used to say Control P and search for instance, register. Yeah, you could just go ahead and search this. If you have a lot of components, instead, it is actually Control P to find that. So I would just go and get everything the way these are, and we shall just modify. Just going to copy everything, take it to the biodata. So you could also say Control P and you say biodata, and I'm just going to paste everything here. So first we have to say this one is bio data form. So we don't need raw and all this here. So in the future we might pass in data, but for now, no. And this register, these props, you are going to look at them. Remove everything here. Okay. And then also this try. For now, we don't want this. Just simplicity only. So we need the title. So this has grid. We just simply need a form. Probably we also need a title. Okay, so let me just go here and see. We have this form. We don't need this div, for instance. So what we need is just going to have this a div. Then we have the max width. Okay. I think that's the only thing we just need. So just go and cut this like this, remove everything, and let's paste this. Okay. So the first thing you're just going to do is I'm just going to remove only one text input, password. We don't need password anywhere. And then we have the submit button. Okay. We could just go ahead and see this. So this also we don't need it. Let's go and see. Okay, so this is the biodata. Okay, so we have to make sure this is more nice than this. So first of all, I need to create a nice header that finishes everything. Let me see. I'm just choose the step we are on. So let's say we are on the sign up. So let me just have this having width full. So just say width full. This would completely finish the entire width. Okay, that's great. So just a second. So I will have to design this header is what I just want. Grid. Why do we need grid here? I don't think we need grid. So I'm just going to design this. Maybe I could simply bring the from shard. Just go to typography. I don't know if I just need either this H1. I don't know if the H1 is so big or H2. H2 it seems like it ought to be so small. I just take this. Okay. I could just also just do this. Okay, maybe just say, for instance, biodata. Okay. Yeah, so I might also need to get this information from this step. Instead I could just use this step and we also put a description of that step. and then we render them here, and then we can have the form input. So for the form inputs, these ones are in the center. This one just going to, I think that one is okay. Maybe just add some margin bottom of 2. And after this div, I'm just going to put border bottom, and I'm just going to say border gray to 100. Okay, and that means we have to add padding onto this. So you say padding bottom of 4. Okay, and then of course even this form, so the form, let's just have padding y of 4 maybe. Okay, and then let's give a, for it we're just going to either give a px, or you could give a max width. uh, so you could just say, just first say px what it would do, like 12. Yeah, to push this, and I would want to put this information maybe in sort of a card. I don't know if that one is adds any nice thing to it. So you could just go to here, blocks, and I could just go slightly down to these login cards like these ones. Go to code. I simply want to see how they design this card. So basically it is in the card, we have the card head and blah blah. Do we really need to go that side of the card? I'm not sure. It has card header and the card content. We could just like put this instead on the form instead of burdening with the component. So just say for instance, uh, border border gray 200. Mm, mm. And let's give maybe, then I would consider using max width. And let's see. And MX Auto. Okay. And does that make it look much better? I don't think so. So could take it away the border. I think with just like that, this is okay. Okay, this I think this is to me, I think this is okay. So we are using the good thing, we are using the components that we designed. Okay, we're using the components that we designed. We can put the name, email, and all the information we want in this form. So we're just going to leave to limit the forms to about 5. Okay, because if I put about 5 inputs, I'll just like duplicate 5 or 6, something like that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So you need to scroll it. I think now at that point, we can take advantage of the space. That is also possible. For instance, we could take off this. We make this to be 4, and then we remove this max width, because for sure this form is going to be too much. Okay, so when they're like this, we make them to be 2, 2. So how do we make them to be 2, 2? So if you remember, if you go text input, it had if you just look at the input, it has no class name. So how is it designed? So it has grade. Okay, so alternatively, what we just have to do, so for instance, if you say grid, so we have grid equals 2, just like this, it will turn everything, I think, into 2, like this. Okay, so now what we will have to do is to specify the call span for this, because this text input, if we come, for instance, and we give this, for instance, a call span of full, just like this, it will occupy the whole entire width, you see, again. Okay, so now we could just put this class name to be, okay, so I'm just going to go and put this class name. By default, okay, I'm just going to pass in this class name. Okay, so by default, I'm just going to pass in this. Sorry, I'm just going to pass in this call span full. Now, if you want to apply this, of course, just go here. Let's edit class name. Okay. So this, we could also use CLX if we wanted. For simplicity to maintain these ones, we could just do something like this, CN, and then you have the default ones. I want you guys just using this, just comma, and then we can pass in the class name. So just import this. Okay, we can just pass in the class name, whatever is here. Now I'm just going to leave by default uh, this, and this is not affect our login. Let me duplicate and see how our login looks like. Just go to the login. I hope these ones are not affected, plus the sign up. Yeah. Okay, so now but now if I just come to here and then I pass in a class name, for instance, in the full name, if I just say class name, so you can pass in course span, for instance, course span, and I can just say course span full, and then I say maybe SM course span, course span 1. Okay, let me just see this if it works. Come on. Yeah, so you can see this now is course span 1. So I can just add this to whichever you want to be side by side. So if I just do that, this one is going to come here, it leaves these ones down. Okay, and this is so much helpful instead of just like this, just like this. Okay, so now the sign up end up having this to end up this side. So for it, we could just do leave one thing. Let me just see. I just say, for instance, the full name. Yeah. So they have to be matching this and this, this and this. So if you make this full name and then these other ones like this, then the sign up has to come down just like this. Or alternatively, of course, the class name, unfortunately, the class name. So you could just do it in such a way that if we wanted, okay, if we wanted, we can just remove this, we move it to, we could just move this grid into another container, just avoid affecting the button, because the button is going to end up being part of the grid. So if you want, you could just leave it to be part of the grid, or alternatively, you could just come and say grid and then put this inside. They are still inside the form, but this grid, anything concerning with grid, cut this to here, and this to here. Now this, you could just leave it on that. So now the button is not going to be part of the grid system. So you can see it is out of grid. Okay, and this could be nice because we don't want it to be part of the grid for design purposes. I can minimize this and I have my button. Now you can just say, okay, so for instance, give it padding Y of maybe 4, and then give it here to extend down a little bit. I could even just like giving it margin top instead, margin top of, let's say, 8. let's see. Okay, and then we could just apply, I guess, flex if we wanted to make it to be somehow not finish the entire width. Justify center and items center. I guess I don't know if we just need to put in the center or at the start, but you could just apply. Okay. How is this button designed? I don't want to affect the styles. This is just a normal button with a width is full. Hmm. So what happens if we remove the width is full? Uh, Nothing. Okay. So with width is full, that is done. Does this affect everything this side? I guess in some areas they will be affected, but for now, this the good thing were these ones were part of the grid, so these are in the grid within the grid. Okay, so right now we have control about it. Okay, we have control about it, which is okay. So now we can just go and give it, for instance, save and continue. Okay, save and continue. And this one will be like saving, please wait. So this will be saving, please wait. And if you are thinking we are going to use, yeah, so this will be like this. If you are thinking that we are going to, if you are thinking we are going to go to, if you're thinking we are going to use, if you're thinking we are going to use what? Uh, Redux, we don't need actual Redux because the purpose of Redux is actually to keep data in state between pages. Now, we are technically not changing any page, going to any other page, but we are changing the content. So what will happen is that this data actually going to be saving it direct into the database. And the reason being why we are going to save it direct in the database is that someone can decide to stop on this tape, they fill in and they save this, and then they will come back next time, and then we can retrieve back this. Okay, this one is retrievable if you see here, because we are going to sort of be saving the page they are on. So we'll save the page, and so that in the future, if they stop, for instance, on the contact information, okay, we could just go back and retrieve this. And if they come here, they will find their data they filled in, blah, blah, like that. Okay, every step in big forms or in really onboarding forms, the actual data is saved in the database so that the user can actually, they can come back to this point. If you remember, if you just go to this, list your service. So if you remember very well, if you remember very well, I just want to show you this page just in a second. So if you remember, we had this, okay, we had this. Now someone can actually come back and they want to begin or they want to resume. So you can imagine here, if someone wants to resume the application and they click onto this, so you're going to be using this. We'll just have a pop-up for this case where they can fill in some things, for instance, their email, because they have to, I think if they are logged in, we can just ask them to log in. If they click to continue, we can ask them to log in. And if they log in, we can have the ID. And then also, I think at this point here, we are supposed to generate the first step when someone starts the process. On the first step is to actually generate upon this. Okay, upon this we generate the pin for them. We are supposed to generate this, we call it what, the retrieval ID or something. We are going to generate for them an ID. To show you what I mean is this. So when you fill in the first time here, when you start and fill in this information, what they do is they generate for you the email you will use plus the form ID. So you just have the form ID plus this, and we can use that to retrieve back the information. Okay, we can retrieve that the information, and the fact for us we are using their ID. Okay, and so we only need them to sign up. So on the sign up we get the ID. So that means when they want to retrieve, we just simply need also we need the ID, the form ID, I guess, to help us. No, we actually don't need the form ID. We have the page, so we are going to associate this whole information together. We have the ID of the user, and since we have the user, we can retrieve the user, the doctor details, and on the doctor details, we can access this page. So later we can actually redirect back to this point on the page where they stopped. Okay. Yeah, so that is great, and that's what you're going to do. So what I'm just going to do is I will share with you this where are they? These notes, the notes, these ones, so that you guys and go ahead and design these fill in these forms for all these different as an assignment. You just go ahead and fill in all that data so that when we come the next episode, we will just have this being done. Okay, we'll have the biodata, the profession information, all these ones, we need to fill them in. Okay, we need to fill them in so that we are able to move on. I will just share with you this. I don't know. I think I will just create a just some page, and I have find a way to share with you this. Okay, so that you can just like look on this and then you fill in, and then when I come back we start discuss, and then we move on. Okay, so thank you so much for watching this episode. I know it has delayed. We had a lot of things try and fail, but it was nice, guys, working onto this, and this begins a big thing for us. Okay, so thank you so much for watching this episode. I'm just going to see you in the next one.